So I will repeat that. You are a beautiful person. You are gracious. Just I do 3 things usually in the evening, and I will repeat it probably 10, 15 times while I'm laying in bed when I can't sleep, because I figure if I can't sleep, I might as well be saying positive things to me. That is focusing on it and making an intent. You can do that with eating right, um, losing weight and exercise. It's almost like, it's not like meditation, but almost visualizing. It's more visualizing how you see yourself in that present tense. Like I am 110 pounds and I look fabulous in this dress or whatever. So you need to visualize it in your brain, and that your brain will draw yourself towards it. It's you're retraining your brain. That's what you're doing. Most of us live our days on autopilot. It is, again, the path of least resistance. We all like the path of least resistance, don't we? I do. I know I do. When I wake up, and sometimes I wake up at 5:30 and I go, oh my gosh, we like the path of least resistance. But I have found if I'm going to go anywhere in my life, I have to work on myself, my intentions, changing the habits, my focus, and getting out of bed and going for it. We all like the path of least resistance, but let me tell you, that's not the best path, and you can retrain it. You know why we do that? Because it saves our brain energy, right? It saves us from thinking. Path of least resistance, watching the TV instead of reading a good book. Path of least resistance, we don't have to use any brain energy. Have you ever come home from work and realized you don't even recall the drive home? That's what I talked about. It is a weird feeling, but that is autopilot. It has been said that by the time we are 35 years old, up to 90% of what we think, feel, and do is recycled from our past. It's just recycling, because it's just weird. It's autopilot. So once again, let's talk about, last week, I believe I talked about leaving the past that does not serve you well, because we recycle all of that in our brain. That does not serve you. All the negative stuff, all the stuff that happened to you. Say you were abused. Say, like my brother verbally said some cruel things to me. If I recycle that every day, guess what? I am going to stay stuck. And I'm going to be in those ruts that I talked about in my brain. And I can't forge a new path. What we have to do is leave the past behind. If we are about to change some of our neural pathways in our brain, we must look at our beliefs. Our beliefs have been based on the experiences of before, okay? So I was told I was fatty 2x4, can't get through the bathroom door. I believed that. I literally believed I was huge when I was only 10 or 15 pounds overweight when I was a child. So eventually, where did that thinking take me? Guess what? Sad story. It took me to 275 pounds because I believed it inside of me. Our beliefs have been based on some of our experiences from the past. We often look for validation on our beliefs from our new experiences. So if somebody said something to me, well, like on the plane, do you need the extra, length for the seatbelt? Well, that's just validating the belief that I'm fat. We look for that. Our brain wants to look at and believe that. Oh, I am really not worthy. So we look for ways to find why we're not worthy. We look around, we listen to what people are saying to believe, to actually validate what we already believe. But you can change that. See how complicated it is? Our brains are so complicated, but yet we can narrow it down and figure some simple ways to change that. Many of our beliefs are not even based on facts. Instead, they are based on the interpretation of those facts. So, when my brother would tease me, that's the example I keep coming up, or when my father died tragically, I believed when I was younger that possibly, why did he do that? And I blamed myself. I actually blamed myself. And so I thought that I had done something wrong. Had I said goodbye to him that day, had I been nice to him, all those little things came up. And my interpretation of that changed parts of my life. But you know what? So interpretations, let me emphasize this, do not necessarily have to do with the facts. It's how we interpreted it. And how we interpreted things when we were younger was often limited and often jaded. I know that mine was. When my brother teased me, he didn't mean that I was fat. He just liked teasing me. He would tease me about every little thing, and I believed what he was saying, but it was also my interpretation of what he was saying to me. And so we need to learn how to deprogram that. In any situation, there are facts and there are interpretation of those facts. These can be quite different. In my large family of 6 siblings, have or had different interpretations of our childhood experiences. Have you seen that? All the children in the family will look at their past in different ways. Some will look at it in positive lights. Some will look at it in negative lights. Some will say I didn't get enough love from mom, and the other one didn't get enough love from the dad. And it's not always facts. It's the interpretation. And that is what has shaped us in so many ways. That is why I went back to my childhood and learned again the importance of forgiveness, to compassionately forgive others, because your interpretation of how we're treated is not necessarily the facts. So what I want to say to you today is there is hope to begin to retrain your brain. I believe it starts with forgiveness, then forgiving yourself, then learning your value, that you are intricately and beautifully created. There is only one of you, only one. Imagine that. There's only one of you, and you are worth it. You are worthy. You are enough. You don't need anybody else to complete you. You are enough. And that is the beauty. So it starts with forgiveness, forgiving others, forgiving yourself, learning to love yourself. And then we're on to retraining our brain so that we can set out new neural pathways out in the forest of our mind that are filled with positivity, not interpreting facts in negative ways, and we can change our life. And when we change our life, guess what? We change others' lives. So I leave you with this. You are worthy. Let's get working. I told you it's not easy, but it is worth it because you are worth it. And I want you to come back next week because we're going to be talking about habits, and we may even get into talking about relationships, but we're going to talk about habits first. So I will see you back here next week. But remember, I am working on an online course just for you. You can go to my website at lorrainehoving.com and sign up for my email list, and you will get a free chapter of the book I collaborated with 13 other authors. And sign up and you will find out about my online course. And remember, it is never too late to change your brain. How exciting. Never too late to lose weight. It is never too late to follow your dreams. It is never too late. And I will see you all back here next week.